Growing foods has changed dramatically. We used to have orchards and gardens in our backyards, and of course to keep up with the demand and to make food as cheaply as possible, quantity became the issue, not quality. There were more choices for processed foods, more choices for fast foods. Synthesized vitamins and minerals, which are the cheapest way to supplement our diet, are not in a food form. What we've come to realize is that our food and nutrition is essential for optimal health.
So what we've done at Mannatech is we've come up with very simple ways that people can supplement their daily diet to make sure that they're ensuring that they're getting all their vitamins, the minerals, and the phytochemicals that they need on a daily basis.
Well, centuries ago, physicians understood inherently that food was critical to health. But as we became more urbanized, modern farming techniques has stripped many of the essential nutrients that are required for optimal health.
If it wasn't for commercial agriculture, we wouldn't be able to sustain all the people on the planet. But at the same time, we're growing a lot of our plant species for the wrong reasons, and it's not nutrition. We're growing them to look prettier, we're growing them to be more shelf stable, to be larger in size, to be more attractive to the consumers. And sort of nutrition is almost like not even a thought in when it comes to commercial breeding of food. And that explains why when you go to the store, sometimes you'll buy a peach that is hard as a rock, and even when it ripens, it doesn't taste like anything. And that's because the phytochemicals haven't had a chance to develop within that particular fruit. If you harvest a peach unripe and then use gas, they use ethylene gas to make it ripen artificially, basically no flavor will develop. And that means that basically no phytochemicals are available in that peach. And peaches used to be a very important source in people's diet of things like beta carotene. Okay, you used to be able to get your amount of beta carotene out of 2 naturally grown peaches, but now with commercial agriculture, the amount of beta carotene is so negligible that you have to eat dozens and dozens of peaches if you could possibly get them all down to get a daily supply of beta carotene. And that's just one example.
Governments all over the world realized the problem with our declining health as it related to nutrition. There were more choices for processed foods, more choices for fast foods. And I think governments all over the world realized that, the best way to prevent disease was through better health. And so they started making recommendations for eating good quality food. And so, for instance, in the United States, the USDA recommended that the average consumer should eat 5 to 7 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables per day to get an adequate amount of basic nutrients. They did a poll several years later that showed that only % of the population was even eating that level of fresh fruit and vegetable. But interestingly enough, by 1999, that recommendation had changed as a result of the continued depletion of essential nutrients in our food chain. And now the USDA's recommendation is 10 to 12 servings per day of fresh fruits and vegetables. And that's similar all over the world. So actually it's become obvious to everyone that supplementation of essential nutrients is critical to health. The Harvard School of Public Health, the Journal of the American Medical Association, everyone who knows anything about nutrition is now saying you cannot get enough proper nutrition in the food that we eat, so supplementation is important. Now, the American public has been way ahead of this curve for years. In fact, 60% of all Americans take some form of dietary supplement today. What they're not aware of is the quality of dietary supplement that they're taking, because this is brand new information that is just coming out.
Most off-the-shelf supplements are combinations of synthetic vitamins and synthetic minerals. And what I mean by that is our bodies were designed to get our mineral nutrition, our vitamin nutrition from foods. We're adapted to extract in the form of natural food complexes. But in order to make these things convenient in capsule form, most companies use synthetics, synthetic chemicals, which are chemicals that are derived from things like petrochemicals. And what they do is through synthetic chemistry, you can create vitamin-type compounds that function in the body to some extent as vitamins.
God created food in nature to have these vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals all bound together in what's called a food complex. And when you eat a food complex, then vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, sugars, fats, amino acids are all utilized appropriately by the human body. So the newest science is saying that for the best supply and support of nutrition, it should be in a total food form. we came to realize at Mannatech is that the most important thing to do to supplement people's diets is to put these essential nutrients in their most natural form. And again, the technology that Dr. Sinnot has put together allows us to do that.
PhytoMatrix represents a convergence of technologies, 3 new technologies that just recently became scientifically available, which we've combined to produce the most advanced multivitamin, multi-mineral phytochemical supplement that there is on the planet right now. The 3 technologies that came together for this particular product are plant-sourced minerals, which come from a special patented and exclusively licensed hydroponic source from a plant called Brassica juncea. And the second major technology in there is a all-natural vitamin complex mixture. So basically all your major vitamins in there, the A, the B complex, the C, D, and E, are all from natural derived sources. And then the third major technology is the incorporation of standardized phytochemicals into this formulation. And phytochemicals are really the glue that holds mineral and vitamin nutrition together. So in other words, although phytochemicals aren't really vitamins or minerals per se, they're required for the proper functioning in your body of vitamin mineral complexes. One of the important technologies that we sourced for this PhytoMatrix that allows PhytoMatrix to exist is a patented hydroponics technology. And this particular technology employs a plant called Brassica juncea. The common name for that plant is Indian mustard. And this actually developed out of a screening process by Russian scientists. When they were looking at plants that hyperaccumulate metals, they were actually using it for cleaning up bioremediating sites such as Chernobyl site. They wanted plants that would take up large amounts of metal from the soil, things like plutonium and uranium. Well, the scientists that did the research on that also realized that if it will take up toxic metals, it will also take up and hyperaccumulate large amounts of nutritional metals. And so that's what we see with this Brassica juncea is we grow it in special hydroponic conditions where basically we take the same minerals that we would formulate into vitamins and minerals and we feed them to the plant. And then what the plant does is the plant uptakes those from the liquid media and actually converts them into complexes, natural mineral complexes within the plant. And that's really the way that we've been adapted to take in our mineral nutrition is from plants. A good way of visualizing the interaction between vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals is to picture a symphony, a sheet of music that's a symphony, and to take every third note out. That's what happens when you remove something like phytochemicals from the equation of a vitamin, mineral, phytochemical supplement. You no longer have a full symphony, you've got a collection of notes which really don't make a whole lot of sense. In order for proper nutrition to take place, you have to have the proper interaction between all 3 of those components, the vitamins, the minerals, and the phytochemicals, in a food form taken simultaneously within the body in order to get the optimum effect from those products.
Well, you know, it has been our strategy at Mannatech to patent all the technologies that we bring to market. Number one, that ensures our associate base as well as our consumer base that we will have the most proprietary and efficacious products that the market can offer. And I think when people come to Mannatech, they expect the best. And what patents do is they ensure that not only do we have the best, but that we can protect it.
What we pursued at Mannatech is a strategy to basically make supplementation easy, realizing that the food, even natural foods, whole foods that people eat, don't have the nutritional requirement. Therefore, the processed foods that we eat obviously wouldn't have the nutritional requirements that you need. So what we've done at Mannatech is we've come up with very simple ways that people can supplement their daily diet to make sure that they're ensuring that they're getting all their vitamins, the minerals, and the phytochemicals that they need on a daily basis. Simplicity is the key to compliance.
The world is desperately looking for answers to quality of life issues. And the only thing that will turn the tide is finding the best scientifically validated ways of feeding the human body appropriately in the world that we live in today, the 21st century. And I think at Mannatech, we are just totally excited about the fact that we have developed new science that brings the best that nutrition has to offer, to people who are desperately looking for ways of improving their quality of life. And I think that's everyone. Regardless of what your condition of health is today, everyone wants to ensure that they're providing their family with the absolute best. And at Mannatech, you can count on that.